I still remember that night like it was yesterday, the night my life changed forever. Not because of luck or money, but because of kindness. It was a cold Thursday evening, and I was finishing my shift as a janitor at one of the fanciest hotels in the city. Most people walked past me without even noticing I existed. But that was fine. I had my son, Liam, my little world. Everything I did, every extra hour I worked, was for him. That night, the ballroom upstairs was lit up for some corporate dinner. The kind where people wore expensive suits, sipped champagne, and made deals worth more than I'd earn in 10 lifetimes. My job was simple: keep the place clean and invisible. But fate has a funny way of noticing people who think they're invisible. As I was taking out the trash near the back entrance, I saw a black luxury car pull up. A man in a sharp navy suit stepped out, pushing his wheelchair forward himself. He looked strong, determined, but there was something heavy in his eyes. I recognized him immediately: Ethan Reed, the young CEO who'd been in the news after a car crash that left him paralyzed. The world called him a miracle survivor, but the sadness on his face told a different story. He rolled toward the restaurant's private entrance, and I overheard him telling the hostess, "I have a reservation. 2 seats under the name Reed." She glanced down the list, smiled politely, and let him in. About 10 minutes later, I passed by again and saw him sitting alone. Candle lit. 1 chair empty. Then I heard it. The whisper. "She didn't show up," the waiter said softly to another staff member. His blind date cancelled at the last minute. Something inside me hurt for him. Here was a man who had everything: money, fame, success, yet sat alone in a crowd full of laughter. And me, a janitor who had nothing but a mop and a son, suddenly wanted to do something for him. So, I did something crazy. I took off my gloves, cleaned up a bit, and walked over. "Excuse me, sir," I said awkwardly, "would you mind some company? I'm on my break and, well, I could use a friend too." He looked up, surprised, then smiled faintly. "You're the janitor, right?" "Yeah," I said, half laughing. "But I promise I'm a good listener." He chuckled, gesturing to the chair. "Then sit. I could use one too." That was the start of something neither of us expected. We talked for hours. About life. About people. About how everyone assumes the rich are happy and the poor are miserable when, in truth, pain doesn't care about your bank account. Ethan told me about the accident. How his fiancée left him soon after. How his so-called friends drifted away. "People love the man in the suit," he said. "But they don't know how to love the man in the chair." I told him about my late wife, how I'd been raising Liam alone, struggling to keep food on the table. And how, despite everything, my son always hugged me at night and said, "Dad, you're my hero." For a moment, the CEO and the janitor weren't from 2 worlds. We were just 2 men broken in different ways, trying to stand tall again. As the restaurant began to empty, Ethan said, "You know, this might sound odd, but I think tonight was meant to happen." I smiled. "Maybe life just needed to remind you that you're not alone." He nodded, eyes soft. "And maybe it needed to remind you that heroes don't always wear suits." From that night on, he came to the hotel often. Sometimes for meetings, sometimes just to talk. We became unlikely friends. I never asked for anything: not help, not money, just conversation. Then, one day, he asked me to meet him at his office. It felt strange walking into that glass tower, surrounded by people in tailored clothes, all staring at the janitor walking into the CEO's office. he greeted me with that same gentle smile. "I have a proposal for you," he said. "I'm launching a new community program to help single parents get education and jobs. And I want you to help me lead it." I froze. "Me, Ethan, I'm just..." He cut me off. "You're not just anything. You're the kind of man who sits with a stranger on his worst night. The world needs more people like you." I didn't know what to say. He continued softly, "You once told me that your son thinks you're a hero. Let's make sure he's right." And just like that, my life changed. Months passed. The program took off. We helped dozens of single parents find work and stability. And every time I saw someone's eyes light up after getting that second chance, I remembered that one dinner the night kindness brought two broken souls together. One afternoon, I asked Ethan why he trusted me with so much responsibility. He smiled and said, "Because you never saw me as a man in a wheelchair. You saw me as a human being. And people like you deserve better." Those words hit me harder than any paycheck ever could. Because sometimes, the richest people aren't the ones with the most money, they're the ones who still believe in kindness. Epilogue, 2 years later, our program expanded across 3 states. Liam, now a teenager, volunteers every weekend. And Ethan, he's not just my boss anymore. He's family. Sometimes he jokes, "If that woman hadn't rejected me that night, I'd never have met my best friend." And I always reply, smiling, "Guess she missed out on a great dinner." We laugh, knowing that life has its strange ways of giving us what we truly need, not what we think we want. Because in the end, kindness is the one investment that never fails.